Welcome to Punchline, the marketing podcast where we're not afraid to say what you're thinking.
And what everyone else is too afraid to say out loud.
I'm Beth Cormack.
And I'm Drue Stinnett. And if you are tired of the LinkedIn echo chamber, the AI content farms, and marketing bros who are telling you how to totally crush it,
Well, they're also like crushing your soul.
then you found your people.
So today we're going to be breaking down the LinkedIn facade, the constant, like we were saying, AI content farming, all the things that we're just like tired of seeing while we're scrolling on our LinkedIn page. Like we understand like the LinkedIn influencer is on the rise, but we got to like roll it back a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I think it's marketing's performative problem, and we're here to call bullshit.
Because honestly, if I see one more post that says like, I'm humble to announce from a bro that has never been humble a singular day in their life, I'm going to lose my shit.
And that's so fair. So folks listening at home, pour yourself whatever you need to get through another day of scrolling past ChatGPT generated thought leadership. And join us as we talk about some authentic ground in the hellscape that is LinkedIn.
And this is Punchline, real talk for the real ones in marketing. So Drue, I'm sure you feel the same way, but I'm so excited to start this podcast with you. I feel like you and I have just been, I don't know, we're on just like the same wavelength, just from like a personal level, but also professional level. And coincidentally enough, Drue and I met on Clubhouse. If you're not familiar, where the hell were you in 2020, 2021 when we were all collectively like losing it as a society and we were like craving a crumb of connection with people in the outside world? And that's how Clubhouse blew up. So if you're not familiar, Clubhouse is kind of like the OG Twitter spaces, I feel like, where people would just like get on. It was audio only. The only way that you could really see people is through their PFP, like their profile photo. And yeah, we just like made like a group of friends through Clubhouse, and like some of the folks I've still stayed in contact with, but I feel like Drue I've stayed the closest with over the years, which is really crazy to say. Like we would literally stay up to like 3 or 4 in the morning and talk about what? I don't even know.
Everything and nothing all at once, I think.
It's so bizarre. But yeah, a little brief background on me. So I am Beth, obviously. I've worked in the social media space for almost 10 years, which is crazy to think about. The first half of my career, I freelanced full time. I had a couple of businesses, so I was very much like chasing the girl boss entrepreneurship dream while also like killing myself in the process, trying to keep up and like hyper promoting hustle culture, which was so detrimental to my mental health. And then once COVID hit, everything changed. And then I pivoted into corporate. So the last like 4 or 5 years, I've been working in the B2B software space, fun stuff. So I am very well versed on LinkedIn and what that hellscape is looking like these days. So yeah, if you want to pop over to you, Drue.
Beth, I was just telling someone this morning about us meeting on Clubhouse and like having a whole conversation about what even happened to that app. I think we need to dive into that later. But yeah, it's been 5 years of friendship with you, which is amazing. And I feel like I've seen us both grow and just go through a lot of transitions in the last half decade. Unlike you, I've been a corporate girly since day one. I've never had the guts to go out on my own, but I've been in the B2B content space since I was in college in like 2018, 2019. And I love my prison cell. I never want to leave it. B2B content is, I think, just the future for me. I'm currently at a SaaS company leading premium content for our marketing vertical. So I get to make marketing content for marketers trying to learn marketing, which means I spend just an insane amount of time on LinkedIn. And actually, I was at a bar on Wednesday with some of our friends here in Kansas City. And I mentioned something about LinkedIn, and like 3 people at the table were like, I don't even have a LinkedIn profile. Like, what are you talking about? And for me, it's like, this is disgusting for me to say. It's such a huge part of my life that I'm like, what do you mean you don't have LinkedIn? Like, I know that there are people who have never downloaded TikTok a day in their life, but LinkedIn is like part of my daily routine for sure.
That TikTok trend that's like people show like this beautiful like video of nature, and it's like humans saw this and created LinkedIn or like created Microsoft Teams or something. Like that's exactly how I feel. Like, how the hell did we get here? But yeah, again, we are super, if you're listening right now, thank you so much. We're so excited to be here. And Yes, their very first episode. So I'm excited to see where it goes. We have a lot of really awesome plans for the future of the podcast. We're going to bring on some really awesome guests. I think a big kind of inspiration for us to start this podcast was just like we were tired of seeing the same sorts of voices circulating on platforms like LinkedIn, on podcasts, things like that. And I think a really important thing for Drue and I throughout this podcast is to focus on primarily like underrepresented voices in this marketing community. So people, women, LGBTQIA plus folks, like people of color, all those different communities that are underrepresented, we want to bring on and shed light to. And because there's so many talented people in this industry that I feel like either the algorithms just don't favor them or they're just like getting overpowered by all of the same types of people just posting AI generated content. So we want to give a space to people, who are otherwise may not get heard from. So that's kind of what we want to do with this podcast.
Yeah, Beth, I think you said that really well. I also just want to say my motivation here is probably to complain a little bit, just to be super real. Like that's a core motivation for me. But you're mentioning AI generated content, white men with a microphone. I just have to say this. The LinkedIn trend that is just absolutely crushing my spirit this week. Super happy to never see another one. Stop asking ChatGPT what they think you look like and then being shocked when it is a middle-aged white man. I am so happy to never see another post like that ever again.
100%. Like, are we disappointed? Yes. Are we shocked? Absolutely not. Like, why are we shocked in the slightest? Yeah. So and I'm also like, I think the figurine trend is cute, kind of, but I'm also tired of seeing that as well.
Yeah, kudos to the people who started those trends. Like, I think the first people to maybe ask those things are creative and interesting. I just, like, feed it the prompt yourself if you're really that curious, but stop acting shocked by the algorithmic bias that we've all known about for years. I think we've seen this even as early as when iPhones were introducing Face ID.
Right.
Like, we just, the robots. The robots are not in favor of anyone outside of that demographic, and I think that's just old news to me. But
yeah,
I will say I have asked ChatGPT to make a action figure of me. I won't share that because I don't want to contribute to the dumpster fire. But it's a fun, cute use. It's like relatively harmless, I guess. But for the love of God, make your content about it more interesting. Maybe like if you want to talk about it, sure. But
I do feel like though that action figure trend, I feel like that's the first true trend on LinkedIn. Like in terms of like if we're talking about like TikTok trends, like not that that's a TikTok trend, but I'm saying like that's like I feel like the first true like viral LinkedIn trend that has happened. So like that was kind of cool to see, but then I was like, okay, I actually I don't know if I want the same sort of like TikTok trend culture to come over to LinkedIn because I go to TikTok for dumb trends like that. Like LinkedIn, I love how it's becoming more casual and just like more whatever. Like I love how it's like becoming I don't want to say less cringe because there's still a lot of cringe content out there, but I do appreciate how it's becoming a lot more laid back and people are becoming like more real and authentic. But I do come to LinkedIn for more like just I want to hear from people that I respect and like whether it's work wise, like personal wise, like I just feel like I don't know. I want to keep some of that silly shit to TikTok and like let LinkedIn still be just like I hate the phrase thought leadership. I feel like that's overdone, but I do learn a lot on LinkedIn just from other people in the industry who have done really well. And I don't know. I hope my feed on LinkedIn is not infiltrated with a bunch of like try hard trends now. That's all I'll say.
Dude, I don't even know why I'm on LinkedIn. Like, I don't know what my motivation is when I open that app, but I will say I'm going through like a bit of a detox right now, and I'm just unfollowing people at scale.
Yes.
I think that's like the best thing I can do between the stock market and AI developments and everything else. Like it kind of was like becoming a source for me to spiral a little bit. And I was like, I don't know, it reminded me of like when I was in high school and people were like getting in political wars on Facebook. And I would get like truly like so triggered by that kind of stuff. And the same kind of reaction was happening to me with LinkedIn, which is insane behavior on my part. Like I have no business getting worked up over a LinkedIn post, but I was. And I realized it was because I was just following people who, I don't want to say that they're producing rage bait on purpose, but like, you know, not everything needs to be a controversy.
No. And that's what, those are the types of LinkedIn creators I cannot stand. And I like, one person comes to mind. I won't mention names, but like, they just like love to start a problem when there is no problem. Like everyone's going to have their opinions, and they're like, LinkedIn is very much like, obviously it's more of a professional platform. And people are sharing more about like work and like, like about their career and stuff. And some things just like simply do not need to be debated. Like this is someone's like personal either opinion or just like personal story. And like someone, I just always see this person in the comments, just like always challenging and always trying to start drama when there's no drama to be started. And then it just like causes this like whole comment war, and like, it's just like so not necessary. I'm like, can we just let people post and like not feel this like immediate kind of draw to be like keyboard warrior, I need to start like chill, like let's fucking chill. It doesn't need to be like that. And I feel like there's like one person comes to mind, but there's a few people that I've seen like on my feed consistently just like starting problems for no reason. And I'm like, why? You get like some sort of high off of this? I'm confused.
I was thinking about the same concept of like the keyboard warrior, and like not everything needs to be a controversy. I saw somebody sharing a post with their resume attached as like a PDF to their post because they got laid off. And I have screenshots of this comment somewhere, but this man was in this poor unemployed person's comments saying, your first mistake is attaching your PDF resume when your LinkedIn should serve that purpose, and was like giving him unsolicited advice and was being so mean about it. And I don't know. When we were preparing for this episode, that interaction came to mind a lot because it was just, you know, say sorry, good luck, and move on. Like,
right.
I don't know.
It's like I feel like the difference between like, there's such a difference in like tone and just like vibe in LinkedIn comment sections versus TikTok comment sections. Like I love TikTok comment sections. Like those are the funniest people I think I've ever seen in my life. And then LinkedIn comment sections are just a bunch of like white men who just want to talk over each other and like want to prove that they're smarter than the other person. It's just this like constant like just I have a word for it that I don't want to say, but like I just like constant just like the comment sections I feel like on LinkedIn are just bad vibes most of the time, and I like can't like you said, this person got laid off, let them post their resume because they're looking for a job. Like why do you have to insert your opinion or like give them advice that they simply weren't asking for?
Yeah, I think it's also so interesting to me, like thinking about the TikTok comment section versus LinkedIn. And I'm totally with you. I think the comments on TikTok are sometimes even better than like the videos themselves. But I'm thinking about LinkedIn, and it's almost like, I don't know the word for it, but I feel like LinkedIn, unique to maybe other social platforms, is like you're kind of forced to interact with people outside of your demographic more frequently. I think like TikTok, I feel like is so curated that it's like mostly like people my age or in my industry, and like I tend to have a lot in common with the people coming up on my feed. But LinkedIn is like I'm following this like 20-year-old marketing intern and also like HubSpot's CMO, and like I'm seeing their posts back to back, right? And so I think like the comment section, it's like a weird cultural mesh, and like senses of humor aren't translating, and like I know that I'm like misunderstanding people's intentions. But also, if I see another copied and pasted comment that somebody's like clearly run my LinkedIn post through ChatGPT and asked for something to comment, like please stop. I would rather not have the engagement at all.
Gonna lose it.
Yeah, I recently have, not to flex on you, Beth, but I recently had a LinkedIn post kind of pop off about kind of the same subject. And I've had to delete so many comments because they're just like I don't think that they're like spam, but I just don't want them associated with me at all. Like,
Yeah. I get it.
and it's just the most useless thing. And I feel like, yes, don't say anything unless you have something nice to say. And also don't say anything unless you have something like valuable to say.
Productive. Yeah. Productive. Like literally it just, I love a delete and a block. I just love those buttons and I will use them to their full extent if I have to. Like, I don't care if it's
Yeah.
like people say like, oh, you're just creating like an echo chamber for yourself. I don't care. Like, I work in social media for a living. I am consuming way too much content that is mentally healthy for me to consume. I don't delete and block as much, of course, on like brand accounts I'm running, but on my own, this is my safe space. I'm going to protect it. I'm going to protect my peace. And if you're coming in and like just putting up the vibe off, I'm going to delete your comment and I'm going to block you. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. So I don't need those vibes in my life.
Yeah. What are some other like LinkedIn offenses outside of weird comments? Like what are things that you see that just trigger that reaction for you where you'll just block someone?
Um, okay, this is a very specific example, but I guess if I want to generalize it, it's when people just like like use a metaphor for everything that like isn't like they'll say something super personal in their life and be like, and this is how I, you know, like I don't know, my son tripped on his ankle at the playground and skid his knee, and this is what I learned and how to translate that into like closing a B2B sale. It's like, no, those two things are not correlated whatsoever. But there was this one specific post that I will never forget. It was probably like 6 months ago, and this guy had actually gone viral for something completely different like a few months before that, and it was like a big controversy. So you'd think he'd like learned his lesson about like what he's posting, but then he posted this other post. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen posted on
I know
LinkedIn.
what you're about to say.
But he was comparing like closing a sale to hitting on a woman. And it was basically like it was like women don't want to be like forced onto. So you have to like kind of slowly like just kind of slowly work your way into hitting on them and like whatever. And it was like this whole disgusting metaphor around like how to close a sale and also how to like get women and like manipulate them into like closing the deal. And it was fucking disgusting. And I was like shocked. I like commented and I was like, this is gross. What are you even doing? And he was definitely deleting comments because all the other comments were like in support of him. And they were like, oh yeah,
Oh my God.
like you're so right, whatever. And it was getting all these likes and all this engagement. And it was just like taking this like ridiculous metaphor and extremely inappropriate, first of all. Second of all, just like those things are not correlated. And clearly, if you are like thinking that they're correlated, like you're not getting any women in the first place, and like gross, who'd ever even want to date you or go within a 6 foot fucking pole of you, you fucking pig. But yeah, so that's like one thing that comes to mind. It's just like the very abstract metaphors that they're just like forcing to become LinkedIn content that just like doesn't have to be LinkedIn content. And then another that's not around the same thing is like when people just like blatantly make up stories where they're like, oh,
Yeah.
I met this, oh, this one person I was interviewing was late, like 20 minutes late, and they came in soaking wet from the rain, and they said they had just run, like, and they were like, whatever. And then ended up offering them the job even though they were late. I'm like, why are you like exploiting? Even if that was a real story, like if they see that, like, why are you like exploiting I don't know. It just feels like very off to me and just like it probably didn't even fucking happen in the first place. And you're just like using their kind of like, I don't know, something that might have been embarrassing for them or just like they were clearly like distraught about and using it to make you seem like a better person for hiring them. It's like, congratulations, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm totally with you. I think just like the most improbable life lessons I don't know.
Yeah.
That definitely warrants a block from me. And also like just this stupid ass conversation around basic grammar. I know you and I have talked about this at length, but like I don't even want to see a post defending the M dash anymore. I just want to pretend it has never existed. Like, can we move on? And my favorite thing is when people will still pose this as a hot take. That is,
Yes.
brother, that is the most lukewarm take you could ever give. Like,
Like there's no, at this point in time, there is nothing, and I say this with my full chest and full confidence, there is nothing more that you can contribute to that conversation that hasn't already been said 20,000 other times. Like, simply no. I don't care if you format your post differently. I don't care if you like, it doesn't matter. We're done. Let's move on. Like, this is, you're just, and that, I think that's another thing. It's just like when people try to force themselves into a narrative that is so overdone, and you know that they're doing it just so they get engagement and they're not contributing anything like anything productive to the conversation or anything that's like not whatever. And it's not to say like you can post whatever the hell you want, honestly, but it's just like, you know, I don't know, when people are like blatantly posting just for engagement because they don't have any other like original thoughts to contribute to the conversation. So they're like, let me just like tag on to this like trendy thing that's happening.
yeah.
And like, there's a difference between like trends and then just like that shit where you're just like trying to produce another hot take about an M dash when I'm like, no, we don't have any more hot takes left. Like, they're all gone. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe next time. Like, maybe next time. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I have so much to say about people trying to identify AI generated content. I feel like that's a whole episode in and of itself. But I do think it's so interesting that people talk about it so much on LinkedIn because at the end of the day, like, who fucking cares?
Right.
I could care less if you're using ChatGPT to edit your writing. I think like there are so many more interesting things that are worth our time to talk and think about, especially like with what's going on in the world. Like, and I don't know, like, I think there are times where that kind of stuff is like interesting and fun. And I'm sure the people who started that conversation, like, I don't want to hate on them because I think when you're like the first person to talk about something, that's always different, right? But like people who in April 2025 are still going on about this, like, I for a long time in my LinkedIn headline had something like M dash champion in my headline on LinkedIn. And then I even got so sick of it that I just took that out. Like, because I just don't want to be part of that narrative. Anyways, I'm thinking of that TikTok sound that's like, do not come to my town. Like, that's just how I feel. Like, stay away from me. I just am so tired of talking about it. And I think, to be honest,
So
like AI generated content has gotten so good that like, I think
Right.
people just feel intimidated.
Yeah, I would agree. On that note, I guess like for you, what does like good LinkedIn content look like versus like the performative kind of overdone stuff that is honestly most of LinkedIn these days?
I know. You know, I have mixed feelings about this because I think that it's like everything in marketing and everything in life, it's all a balance. I am here for the funny, relatable, silly content. I know, like you were saying, like you don't necessarily want a ton of that on LinkedIn, and I don't either, which is why I'm saying balance is key. But there are a few people that I follow who like I feel like have struck that balance really well.
Yeah.
Jade Powell comes to mind. She's like a really impressive voice in the social media space. I actually had like the honor and privilege of hosting her on a webinar for my 9 to 5 a few weeks ago, and I think she is so good at being so real and authentic and also remembering it's like a professional space, and I feel like she shows up so well. I also am like here for anything that's super actionable. Like if you have a ChatGPT prompt that is just like changing your life, please share that with me. Like that is what I'm on LinkedIn for. I am not here for like your deep philosophical take on anything. Like I want to be better at my job. I want to be smarter about my job, and I want to giggle. Like those are my
Yeah.
3 core needs when I open the Briefcase app.
I love that. And I think it's less for me. Like, I love the silly content on LinkedIn. I think for me it's more like I don't want it to be just a bunch of like trend, like just like I don't want to see a bunch of like those action figure trends
Yes.
happening again and again. Because then that's when you don't get any like real authentic useful content, because I think TikTok has struck a really good balance with their algorithm where like yeah, I'm getting a lot of really funny silly trends that I love, but then I'm also learning a lot on TikTok too. And I want that same energy on I'd love that same energy on LinkedIn, but like I think because of the generational like gap that LinkedIn is still is like there's again like you said earlier there's like the 20-year-old intern who like understands like the stuff that we understand. And then there's also like the 60-year-old person who just doesn't get it. So like you're kind of combating against like these different demographics that like it just makes it sometimes like hard to, I don't know, strike that balance of like being funny and will everyone understand what I'm saying, but also like not forcing it. And it can kind of come across as like cringy more so on LinkedIn than I feel like on TikTok. So, but yeah, I agree with you. I like love, and I think I've curated my LinkedIn feed in a, because I've also like gone on like an unfollowing spree, but I feel like the people I follow now are like mostly like social media managers, and like those are like some of the funniest people ever. So like
Yeah.
I'm getting like a lot of great content from that. And I don't know, the content that I like I put out personally is like very vulnerable because I've always been like a writer. I've always been a storyteller. I like to be, I hate the word authentic. It's such a buzzword, but I love to kind of bring that energy and just like show what I'm going through online in the hopes of helping other people and connecting with other people. And I like to see that other type of content from people too, of just being like, let's cut through like this like artificial bullshit narrative that people are spewing out on LinkedIn around like, I don't know, their stupid metaphors and all these like successes that they're having and their highlight reel. And like for me, like I've been navigating this unemployment journey for like 5 months now, and it's been really fucking hard. So like I'm gonna share that. And it's not like I'm not trying to throw a pity party for myself. I don't want to contribute to this like black hole that is like can be depressing to see all the layoffs and all this shit. I don't want to contribute to that, but I also want to be like real about like what the job market currently is, what I'm dealing with, and like how, I don't know, how I'm going to be like action oriented and like next steps I want to take in the hopes that it can help other people either relate or learn something from it. So yeah, I feel like maybe it's just because we work in marketing, but we can like see through all this superficial bullshit that people put out there. And it's like so blatantly
Yeah.
obvious to me that I'm like, surely everybody must know this is bullshit. But a lot of people don't. And that's the scary part. It's like they eat that shit up. And that's what bothers me. It's like these thought leaders are putting out bullshit and people are internalizing it and taking it as fact, where you're like, no, like this is not real. Like this is like, and that's what fucking bothers me.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Like there are so many people who have all of this influence and like these huge platforms that, and that's not just on LinkedIn. Yeah, I think like there are so many people who have platforms that like maybe don't understand the overall impact of their post. I also think that there are so many people on LinkedIn who are putting so much more work into curating this bullshit half baked content that they're posting. They're putting more work into that than they're putting into their actual job.
I was gonna say there's like I don't know, like now you have to wonder like are they getting pressure from their employers to put more effort into their personal brand, because that's like something that, you know, is becoming really valuable to employers is to hire someone, especially B2B companies who already have a LinkedIn following. It's like that's what we're seeing with like the rise of LinkedIn creators. And I
Yeah.
think that I think that extra pressure is also contributing to all this kind of bullshit that we're seeing spewed out on LinkedIn, because you can 100% tell when content is forced. And
Yeah.
if you're getting this pressure from like the CEO of your company, like that's what your value is to the company, is being this like LinkedIn influencer, then I don't know, maybe you're going to put out more bullshit content because like that's the pressure that you're getting. I don't know. It's like it's this weird
Yeah.
kind of space that we're in now.
No, and like I have to be super honest. I have fallen into that trap, right? I think first of all, there's nothing more embarrassing to me than hitting post on LinkedIn, no matter what I'm saying. Like it's just inherently very embarrassing.
It's so true.
Yeah, like that it just is what it is. And even this podcast, like I've been telling a couple of people this week, like because Beth and I have been planning this for like over a month now. So I'm very proud of us as two neurodivergent girls. We're actually following through. But I've just this week kind of like started mentioning like, oh yeah, I'm like recording my podcast episode on this day, and people are so interested, but it's humiliating actually to
Yeah.
like talk about it. But the like, just to be super transparent, I think one of the, not the core motivation for me in starting this, because I think we're really aligned on like the why behind it, and it's just wanting different conversations than are currently accessible to us. But it just like super honestly, another motivation for me is like we've both been laid off a few times, and like everything going on with the economy, I don't know, like I'm not wishing that on myself right now, but I do know like in the long term, the only thing that I can ever control is like my influence. And this is something that like your LinkedIn following, really you're the only person that can take that away from you. Your personal brand, you're really the only person that can take that away. And like just having something like more tangible to hold on to is really appealing, I think, to a lot of people. We were talking this morning about a LinkedIn creator who, she was like kind of one of the first LinkedIn influencers that ever really came to mind for me. And I think she kind of pioneered that in a way. And her personal brand was like pretty tied to this company, and she's no longer there. And I'm just wondering, I don't know, like I'm not like trying to speculate on anything with that situation. I just have questions like, is like, how is her personal brand going to evolve or change because she's no longer with this company? And like I work for a pretty well-known company in the space, and like I love my job and I'm proud of my job, but I don't want to become an extension of that brand. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't know how to navigate it because I think it's so new.
100%. And I think it's like I deal with that a lot just working in social. Is like I'm the face of I'm the face of a lot of brands, like on their TikTok channel. Because I feel like now social media managers are like content creators for these brands, and like you're all over the TikTok page, or like I still get served ads from a company that I worked for years ago with like my face in it. It's like I don't know, like it's just you become, I don't know, it's like you become, like you said, an extension of the brand, and it's hard to like emotionally separate yourself from it when you do get let go or you do move on to a different company. And as much as like I'm shitting on LinkedIn, as I'm navigating this unemployment thing, is 1000% been the strongest tool for me to get job opportunities and like even get myself in the door. Like it's just like cold applying is simply not working. But you bet when I put out a vulnerable post about like my struggles of dealing with unemployment, I get a shit ton of messages and people wanting to connect. And, and that's not the reason for why I'm posting these things. Like I'm truly posting it just to, I've always seen writing as a very therapeutic thing for myself. And I always also, again, just like love connecting with people through my writing and through my storytelling, whatever. But I like every time I put out a post that's like real and authentic to what I'm going through and navigating this unemployment stuff, I get so many Calendly things booked. I get like so many folks just like wanting to help. And I think that's like a side of LinkedIn that is worth mentioning. There's like so many people out there that are more than willing to help than not. And I think that's why it's also such a powerful tool. It's like, it is, it's always been a networking social network, right? In terms of like professional networking. And as much bullshit is on there, I think there's a lot of, people like that you may not like. A lot of these people that are like booking these meetings with me, like I've never even heard of them. Like they're just like quiet voices on LinkedIn, but they just want to help people. And I think that's like the really powerful part of LinkedIn that doesn't often get seen by people because it's infiltrated by a bunch of nonsense. But whenever people ask me like what kind of tools for getting interviews or like job opportunities, I'm like, LinkedIn. Like you have to build your network on LinkedIn, and that sounds really cringy to say, and it's really hard to put yourself out there in that way. And like you said, I'm always embarrassed when I hit publish on LinkedIn, like regardless, but if it's going to get me a job, then fuck it. I don't care. Like I just like gotta put my shit out there. But yeah, so I think, there's definitely strengths to it, but there's, a whole lot of bullshit that still exists on the platform.
No, I'm totally with you. I think I love LinkedIn. Like I said at the top of the episode, it's like a daily part of my life. But I think just more so in the last few months, for me, it's just become a necessary evil in a lot of ways. Like it just, but like unfollowing people that don't make me feel good. I think I've always treated my TikTok, my Instagram that way. And it had never occurred to me to do that with LinkedIn,
Yep.
because I've been afraid of like losing connections or whatever. And I also realized, like, thinking about like posting on LinkedIn and stuff, like I think I fell into a trap for a long time of posting this like broetry style content because that's what I was seeing all the time. And to me, that was like the only thing that would ever work. And then I
Yep.
realized like I hate that shit. So
Yeah. Yeah.
why am I making it?
Right.
So like, I don't know. I think it's ever evolving. And to be frank with you, I've seen people talking about weird LinkedIn lately, and I'm not cool enough to know what that means, but I think I like it. I think I'm here for it. Like, I don't
I'm
really know what
always
it is.
I'm always here for weird, like,
Anything.
I don't think I've heard of weird LinkedIn either. Do I have to look
I'll
more
do a
into
deep.
it?
I think we have to look more into it. Maybe leave something in the show
Yeah.
notes if we
Do
find
like
an
a deep
answer.
dive. Because I think I like
Yeah.
the sound of it. Because I'm like, I feel like the older I get, the more I'm like, I love weird. I love weird stuff. Like, not in like a
Yeah.
weird way. There's like a spectrum, right? Like, but like, I love being on weird algorithms. And so I feel like, I think I like the sound of weird LinkedIn.
Yeah. I mean,
We'll have to deep dive.
I liked what I've seen. And the people that are
Yeah.
talking about it are people that I generally like really respect. I also had a manager at one job who insisted on reviewing everything I posted on my LinkedIn
Oh,
before I would
hell
post it.
no. Hell no.
And like had requested multiple things that I posted, not even about the company I was at, like requested for certain things to be deleted. Out of fear like we might lose clients, and like I'm posting like I take Adderall, and it helps me a lot, and apparently that was going to be like detrimental to the company I worked for. So
I
I don't
can't.
know, LinkedIn and I have
Well, I
a
will
long
up you
history.
and say that someone that I'm very casually dating, like very casual, he follows me on LinkedIn. I don't know why we ever connected on LinkedIn, but
Humiliating.
where we're connected on LinkedIn. He will send me a screenshot, like in the middle of our conversation, he'll send me a screenshot of my post and be like, LinkedIn influencer Beth at it again. I'm like, can we not? Can
I
we
would
not?
die.
I'm about to block your ass on LinkedIn and maybe even block you just in general.
Yeah, I would
You have no
die.
right to call me on my LinkedIn bullshit when we matched on Tinder. Like those things should not ever coexist.
I agree. I This is so funny. I actually was just telling my fiance this story a few days ago. The most vile use of LinkedIn that I have ever been victim of was also somebody I had met on Tinder, or I think we matched on Hinge. This was like 3 or 4 years ago. This man ghosted the shit out of me, but the long story short is that this man just ghosted me for like 2 or 3 months, and then out of nowhere, I got a LinkedIn DM from him one day, and he was like, "I'm so
Bro.
sorry, I never had your number saved. I'm sure I've missed messages from you, but I'd love to have your phone number again." And I was like, "In my LinkedIn DMs? You're doing this
No,
on?"
no.
So I think I responded and was like, "Hi, Zach. Thank you so much. Hi, thank you for connecting with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to hear about you. Love to hear more about you and your business." And then I did give him
But
my phone number, but
you know what? It is what it is. But yeah, I feel
it
like
is what
that
it
is
is.
also like because when you Google someone, like whenever I match with someone on Tinder and we're like chatting, I'm gonna Google you.
Obviously.
But the LinkedIn profile comes up first, and then you got to do like look at it in the incognito window, so like they don't know that you're looking at your profile. But I feel like men are kind of too stupid to do that. So there's been several times where because I have LinkedIn Premium, cringe, but I
Yeah.
do. I'll several times where I'll see like my profile viewers, and it's like random people that I've gone on a date with or like whatever, and I'm like, what? But I can't really judge them because I'm like, I did the same thing, but like you have to look at it in an incognito window. Like, are you stupid? Like, this is just
Are
like
you
the
dumb?
rules of the world. Like, you just LinkedIn incognito window always.
Beth, has it occurred to you to turn off your settings to where it doesn't show people your name or where you work when you view their profile?
You can? Wait, really?
Oh yeah, you can definitely do that. Yeah.
I thought that was only like recruiters could do that. I don't know.
No, my
Maybe
settings
I
are
can.
definitely. I'll send you the
Oh.
instructions after we get done
Oh,
recording.
now I feel like
Yeah.
now I feel okay. Well, yeah, I'll have to do that
No,
because but then
I only know that.
sometimes I for the job hunt, like sometimes I want people to see that I'm like if I'm like looking at a recruiter's profile or like I'm looking at like a head of marketing, I like want them to see that I'm looking at their profile. So I'm like taking the extra step. So I don't know if I would
Yeah.
turn that on. I'm doing that a lot more often than I am when I'm using it to stalk men or women that I'm interested in dating.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's good to
For
know, I
listeners at
guess.
home, no, I get your motivation there. You are able to turn that feature off, and I know that because I am a grade A creep. So
Okay.
just when you do get your next job, maybe we'll
Yeah.
turn that off. And I'll
Sounds
say,
good.
I am very jealous of my fiance because he is just a blue collar man that will never have to download LinkedIn in his life.
Oh, so nice.
And I just want to know that piece. Like
You
we
want to
said,
know
there's a
that
lot of
piece
good in it, but it's good that you don't need unless you're in the marketing hellscape.
in the
So
marketing hellscape. So
yeah,
I feel like that was very therapeutic for me. I feel like we're going to say this every single episode, but I feel like this was really therapeutic for me to just chat about this because I have a lot of pent up energy, probably unhealthy, toxic energy around this that I'm too passionate to talk about. Like, I shouldn't care this much.
yeah.
I like the fact that we're even have the whole episode on this, like, cringe, but honestly, it's fine. It needed to be said. I needed to say it, and I'm really happy that we said it.
No, I think it's good to get this off your chest. I will say for listeners, check the show notes because I think Beth and I are each going to drop a few people that we really enjoy following on LinkedIn,
Yep.
just so you have something to look forward to. You should also, I think, follow both of us on
And
LinkedIn if you're not
and
already.
subscribe. We also have a Substack. So I
We
think in
do.
our Substack for this episode, we're going to dive into weird LinkedIn. I feel like that's a really good
Genius.
Substack thought piece. So we'll link the Substack in the show notes as well. But yeah, we're really excited to have this podcast. Expect a lot of this happening every week with different guests. Sometimes it's going to be Drue and I. Other times it's going to be other awesome people joining us. But yeah, it's just going to be, we have like an outline for every show, but a lot of it's just like we went off script probably like 70%, 80% of the show, which is what we
Yeah, I
want
think more than
because
that. Yeah.
yeah, probably like 90 to 95%. But no, this was great. And then of course like and engage with our posts because we need it.
We need it. Yeah, please do.
Give us a rating on Spotify or Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts. Um,
And
Anything else?
if you want to be on the show, um,
Oh yeah.
we would love to have you. So I think slide
Yep.
in our LinkedIn DMs, like men from Tinder.
Yeah.
That'd be really great for us. We would love to have you. And thank you so much for listening. If you've made it this whole time,
Yeah.
that means the world.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Well, see you guys next week.
See you next week.